You know, when we think about what makes a great leader, our minds usually jump to things like strategy, vision, and making tough calls. But what if I told you there's this unseen force that can either supercharge all of that or completely derail it? Today, we're diving into exactly that, the emotional literacy of strategic leadership.
It really can all come down to this. One single conversation, maybe one that feels impossible, can literally set a team on two totally different paths. One leads to success, the other to failure. It's wild to think about, right? Two futures hanging on one moment. So, what is it? What's the secret sauce? What's that one variable that decides which path you and your team go down? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. To really get it, let's jump into a story. I want you to meet Sarah. She's a manager, and she is walking into what you can only describe as a pressure cooker meeting. The stakes, they couldn't be higher.
Okay, so here's what she's walking into. Business growth has completely flatlined. Her bosses are constantly on her case. A huge client, one they can't afford to lose, is threatening to walk out the door. And, to top it all off, her star player, David, the one person she's always been able to count on, is suddenly missing deadlines. It's a lot.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Forget the business problems for a second and think about what's happening inside Sarah. This isn't just a spreadsheet problem anymore, it's become physical. Her body is screaming at her with these signals, a pounding heart, that awful tight feeling in her chest. This is what pressure actually feels like.
And right here, this is the moment. It is the fork in the road. What Sarah chooses to do in the next few seconds, how she decides to interpret those physical signals, is going to change everything.
So take a look. She's got two options, laid out plain as day. On the left, we have the reactionary path. This is where you just act on that raw, unnamed emotion. It's driven by instinct, and it almost always leads to accusation. But then, over on the right, you've got the strategic path. This one starts with a pause, to actually identify the emotion. It's guided by clarity, and it leads to something totally different, connection.
All right, so let's follow Sarah down path one first. This is what happens when she lets that raw, unprocessed emotion grab the steering wheel. She just barrels ahead. She ignores her racing heart. She doesn't stop to ask, hey, why does my chest feel so tight? So all that unprocessed anxiety, it has to go somewhere, right? And it does. It hijacks her behavior and comes roaring out as anger.
And this is what comes out of her mouth. It's not a question, it's an attack. Just listen to the words, dragging the team down. Why can't you? She's leading with blame, and you can just feel how the conversation is already dead on arrival.
And this kicks off a totally predictable, destructive chain reaction. Her unnamed anxiety fuels an accusation. David, feeling attacked, immediately gets defensive. And the result? Trust is shattered. The relationship is fractured. Game over.
Okay, hit the rewind button. Let's go back to that fork in the road. What if Sarah chose differently? Let's see what happens on path 2, where she uses strategy, not just gut instinct.
The whole thing starts with one simple, powerful move. She pauses. She just takes a breath. She asks herself, okay, what am I actually feeling right now? And when she does, she realizes it's not just anger. Underneath it all, there's a deep fear of failure and this insecurity about her own ability to lead the team through this mess. Just naming those feelings, that simple act, gives her back control.
Now, because she's in control, her entire energy shifts. Listen to this opening. It's night and day. I value your work. I want to understand. Address this together. See that? It's not a verdict. It's an invitation to solve a problem as a team.
And just like before, this sets off a chain reaction. But this one is constructive. By naming her fear, she's able to act with genuine curiosity. That curiosity leads her to actually understand David's situation. Turns out, he was just completely overwhelmed. And the result? Trust isn't just saved, it actually gets stronger.
So Sarah's story really brings us to the core principle here. It's all about a fundamental shift in how we think. It's about learning to see our emotions not as these inconvenient liabilities we need to suppress, but as an incredibly powerful asset, as strategic data.
And that brings us right to our key definition. Emotional literacy. It's simply the ability to use your emotions as valuable data to help you make smarter decisions, instead of letting them be these knee-jerk reactions that control you. It's the difference between you driving the car and your emotions taking you for a wild, chaotic ride. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you feel that pressure building, when your heart starts to race and you feel that tightness in your chest, are you going to react or are you going to choose to respond? The difference, as we saw with Sarah, can be as simple as taking one single breath and asking yourself, what am I really feeling right now?